All right, we are live right here on WHAS11 Plus, WHAS11.com. I'm Shay McAlister, joined by our election analysts here, the best in the biz. We are really excited to have Democrat former Metro Council President David Tandy here, now a partner at Denton's law firm, and Iris Wilbur-Glick, GOP election consultant with McCarthy Strategic Solutions. Thank you both for joining us here today. We really appreciate it. And we're getting great feedback on you. People are absolutely loving what you're adding to the conversation. We're going to be diving into the results here in just a minute. The big race that we're focused on tonight, of course, is Kentucky governor, and we're hearing we could have an answer in this race here in the next few minutes. But first, we want to get right out to our senior reporter, Isaiah Kim Martinez. He's with chief photojournalist Philip Murrell. They are at Paris Town Hall. We're going to get to them in just a few minutes. Let's get to the results so you can see exactly what we're seeing. 50% reporting. Iris, you're saying you believe that this race could be called. We're talking about the Kentucky Attorney General here in just a minute, but let's start with the governor, guys. What are you seeing here? Or do you believe we could have this race called here in just a few minutes?
Right, and so, you know, the way the Kentucky time zones are, we got Eastern and Central time zones, but the majority of the vote share is in Eastern time, and most counties are reporting. Many are 60, 70% of the precincts reporting. There's a couple outliers that I'm waiting for, like Nelson and Bullitt. Those are some good stronghold counties that could be favorable towards Republicans. But with the number of precincts reporting in the Eastern time zone, the weight of that is about 80%, and so we may be able to call the gubernatorial race really at any moment now, depending on a couple of these other Eastern time zone counties reporting some activity.
You see the results here on your screen, folks. 52% reporting. Andy Beshear, incumbent, has 53% of that. Daniel Cameron with 47%. Iris, even if Cameron were to win some of those counties you just mentioned, would it change things at this point?
So I was looking at counties like Scott, Madison, and Kenton. Those are Republican majority counties. The majority share of the registration there is Republican. Governor Beshear was successful with slim margins there in 2019, was hoping to see those flip. For me, that would have been a great indicator to see us retain those counties this go around, and then be able to overperform in some southeastern counties, which at this time it looks like we've been successful. But being able to maintain Republican counties is key tonight.
And at this point, looking forward, David, what are you seeing? Do you think this is Beshear's win tonight?
Oh, well, I do. I mean, just go back to Scott County just for a quick minute. If you look at Scott County right now, Governor Beshear is winning that one 55% to 45%, with 92% of the vote in there. And so that margin that you're seeing there is one where, if you were to compare that to 4 years ago, he won that one. He won that one 49% to, it's basically tied, 49-49. So over the course of the 4 years, if the governor is able to expand his margin of victory, then it's a good night for him.
Okay, so we want to get out to our senior reporter, Isaiah Kim Martinez. He's at Paris Town Hall. This is campaign headquarters for Governor Beshear right now. Isaiah, if you are with us, can you tell me if the mood is shifting there, as we have more than 50% reporting and it looking like this will be Beshear's win tonight?
Hey, Shay, it's obviously a night where we're seeing a lot more folks as the minutes and, of course, the hour has gone by. Now a packed crowd here at Paris Town Hall, and of course so many folks like ourselves are just taking a look at those results, how many votes are coming in, what the turnout is like across counties here in the state of Kentucky. Of course, the last time I checked, Jefferson County was holding pat at about 70,000 votes counted, of course favoring the incumbent governor, who is expected to, of course, do well in the metro areas of Louisville and Lexington. But some of those counties that we're keeping an eye on are some in northern Kentucky, counties like Kenton and Campbell counties, of which many experts have told us will be some of the keys here for both candidates, both Daniel Cameron and Andy Beshear, if they're going to come out victorious. Of course, we're also looking at western Kentucky as some of those votes come out as well. But the big storyline behind this entire race, at least from the governor's perspective, has been the campaign's messaging. He even last night here in Louisville at their final Get Out the Vote rally talked about the partisan nature of this race and trying to, in his words, remove that label from his campaign, from his messaging, trying to be someone, as he says, to be there for both Republicans and Democrats. He says from the moment he won the race, he was forced to, even as a proud Democrat, take off that hat and do the best for families on both sides of the aisle, especially through COVID-19, especially through natural disasters like the tornadoes in the west, flooding in the east. We'll see tonight if all that proves to resonate with voters, not just here in Jefferson County, but across some of the more rural areas of the state. That is what we're really looking at right now. But as of last check, this is a tight race, 50,000 votes separating the two candidates, the last time I checked at least. Shay.
Let's talk a little bit about that. He was mentioning some of the presence Beshear has had in eastern and western counties, both seeing major natural disasters during his time in office. We'll start with you, Iris. What role do you think that played here?
I mean, clearly it was effective, right, from a political standpoint. Obviously, do not want to diminish sort of the tragedies, the natural disasters, the disruptions, the loss of life. Like, definitely do not want to diminish that. But from a political standpoint, having a physical presence there, having sort of a constant presence in the media, you know, it stays front of mind with voters. And when you're looking for, a candidate to support, and I think effectiveness, being able to reach voters. I do think we're obviously seeing some benefit from the governor just being present in eastern and western Kentucky from the tornadoes and from the flooding, and the cooperation from local officials. So we're seeing that play out. Western Kentucky, central time zone, I'm still waiting to see more results come in. Beyond sort of where the tornadoes impacted, like places like Graves County, still waiting to see results come from that. That'll be interesting to see, what we're speaking of, what kind of impact. Right now with half of the votes in just north of half, General Cameron is performing well there. The margin I'm seeing now is 64% of the vote. And again, like that was sort of ground zero, if you will, for the natural disasters in Western Kentucky. And so for me, like we'll see, right? We're waiting for 45% of the vote. It's traditionally a Republican county, and so that would have been. This is a great example to see General Cameron overperform in order to compensate for Dem-leaning counties.
Very good. Okay. And do we have Alex ready? Okay, so we have Alex Dieterer. She is live right now at the Marriott downtown. Alex, let's get out to you. You are at the GOP Watch Party campaign headquarters right now. What are you hearing? What's the mood like there?
Now here at the Republican headquarters, and while Daniel Cameron has not yet arrived, the Republican headquarters is celebrating. Just a few moments ago, Michael Adams was re-elected as Secretary of State, and Allison Ball was elected as State Auditor. Now the question is for everyone is if Daniel Cameron is going to join that victory at the end of Election Day. With about over 50% of the votes in, that margin keeps getting smaller. So the question on everyone's mind is if he will join Michael Adams and Allison Ball at the end of the night. We will stay here and continue to give live coverage. Cameron said this morning he is feeling confident that he will win this election. I spoke with Daniel Cameron's mom just a couple of hours ago, and she reiterated that same feeling, confidence that he will take home the win at the end of tonight. We will continue to be here and bring you live coverage, live at the Republican headquarters in downtown Louisville. Alex Dieterer, WHAS11 on your side.
All right, Alex, thank you for that update there. Certainly a bit of a mixed scene there, right, at the GOP campaign headquarters tonight. As she mentioned, Secretary of State called there. That's a big win. It sounds like Russell Coleman could be called here at any minute if he hasn't been.
Yeah, anytime when you have, on election night and you're doing it as the party, you're going to have some winners, some losers. You want a night where everybody on your team is winning, but, it doesn't always go that way at times with different campaigns. But, as it relates to from the Democratic, side of things, it's going to be, it looks like it's shaping up to be a good night. We're looking still detail at some of the counties that are coming in from Western Kentucky and how those are performing in different places. Iris was talking about Graves County. I'm looking at Davis County, my hometown, 45% of the vote in. Governor Beshear is winning that one right now, 57% to 43%, which would be a flip from 4 years ago. There. So, if you're Governor Beshear, you're seeing some good things there. And down the ticket and some of those other races that we have on the Democratic side, you're seeing it perform similar to what we saw 4 years ago, to be quite honest.
Is there any surprise there? Did you think any of these candidates would pull through, or did you expect this down?
Well, you were hoping for Governor Beshear to have some coattails, but in order for that to, what you're fighting against is when you are running for an open seat, is people don't have the opportunity to get to know you unless you are a well-known brand across the state ahead of time. And so then what people will tend to do is they then go into their respective tribes and vote that way. But as candidates have the opportunity to kind of demonstrate who they are, how they perform under pressure and in particular roles, then you'll see, in this case, like where Governor Beshear is doing extremely well. He had 4 years to demonstrate who he was, and people resonated with that.
Iris, are you seeing anything here now in just the last few minutes that makes you think this race could really be called at any moment?
So we keep talking about Central Time Zone, right? And so they're an hour behind us, and a lot of the early voting activities, so absentee, in-person, excused, and unexcused, those are starting to steadily report in. And so we're seeing some trends now, but again, traditionally, is particularly even-numbered election cycles. That's those counties out there favor Republicans, and right now, from the results that we're seeing, again, portions only reporting in. Governor Beshear should be happy with some of the activities that are coming out, some of the reportings that have already come out. I'm looking at counties like Henderson. Local electeds are Republican. The Lieutenant Governor nominee, Robbie Mills, state senator, his home county is Henderson County, and right now, the numbers I'm looking at, with over half of the precincts reporting in, Governor Beshear has sort of a 2-to-1 advantage there. So not happy about seeing those numbers on behalf of Republicans, particularly for General Cameron. But again, we got a good chunk that we're left to wait for the results. Just like David mentioned, Owensboro, that's from a raw vote standpoint, that's a really good county to bank on. I'm waiting to see more numbers there. I'm hoping that General Cameron can make up some ground. But overall, what we're looking now is maybe 45 minutes ago we saw sort of a 10-point gap, and we're seeing that narrow now to about 6-7 points. And so as results are coming online, some more central Kentucky counties are coming online. And then the Western Kentucky counties will hopefully see that margin really narrow in favor of General Cameron. But right now, Beshear has a good lead.
And let's explain to the viewers a little bit too why you may have some outlets where they're calling it. They can call certain races earlier without some of the votes that are coming in. Let's just use Jefferson County as an example. Right now, you're having 32% of the vote being reported in Jefferson County, and Governor Beshear winning with 72 to 28% vote split. That margin is going to stay consistent. So with 620,000 votes roughly coming out of just Jefferson County, when you take that and you start adding up, you could add up Henderson, Davis County, Ohio County, all those counties there in Western Kentucky, they won't come up to the same number of votes that are coming out of just Jefferson County. And so that's where you start to see you could perform well. Like for General Cameron to do extremely well, he would need to be performing at a 70-30 clip in those counties to make up the margin.
Okay, and that's kind of what we're already seeing here. Well, let's look at these graphics one more time, just so you at home have an idea of where we're at right now. We have more than, let's see what the number is right now reporting. It looks like nearing 60% reporting. We have the governor's race, Andy Beshear, 53% of the vote. Daniel Cameron, 47%. This again is 57%. And our analysts have been sharing here that in some ways this race is going to be called soon. Even if Cameron were to come up and win some of the counties you've been watching, it would not be enough. Let's look now at Kentucky Attorney General, where we stand with that. Again, 57% reporting. This was Russell Coleman, the Republican, and Pamela Stevenson, the Democrat. These two looking to fill Attorney General Daniel Cameron's spot. Russell Coleman up 58%. We have seen some different agencies calling this race. The AP has not called it quite yet. And finally, Kentucky Secretary of State Michael Adams going up against Buddy Wheatley. Michael Adams coming out with a massive majority here. This race has been called. It's the first of these big three to be called. No surprise there. Something you guys talked about earlier tonight.
Yeah.
So we have our analysts here. They're sticking with us for the next several hours as these results are coming in. We will be back with you live at 9 o'clock right here on WHAS11.com and WHAS11 Plus. We'll see you then.